is actually in the living room on the couch because she broke her ankle in 2 places. So she sees the orthopedic doctor on Thursday, and they are going to do more x-rays and hope that a lot of the swelling has gone down, so they can either one of 2 things. One, she'll get a cast and we just watch it and let it heal, or 2, he's going to schedule her for surgery. Either way, she'll be getting a cast, whether she's getting casted while she waits for a surgery date or whether or not he just decides to cast it, and that's going to be it. We don't know. She broke both bones on either side of her ankle. So the 2 big bones that go down your leg where they meet at your ankle, those 2 like end bones, she snapped them clean off. So yeah, but you guys, this is what we're here for right now. We have our first set of eggs in the incubator. So I'm going to turn this around and show you. So we have this one here, so these first 4 eggs are Dominickers, so they're eggs. And then we have these 3 eggs are Rhode Island Reds. So we are just waiting. If you're wondering what the little black, sorry, there's like I don't know, I got this and it has like this little weird discoloration in it. But anyway, the line was so that way we could make sure that this is working. It's an automatic egg turner. I'm noticing that I've got some dew going on in here, but I think everything's looking really good. Today is day 3. Oh, well, technically, I mean, they got put in here on the 31st of August. So we officially became incubated. So these guys are due to hatch on the 21st, the 20th or 21st, right around there. So today is officially day 3. I've got my chart here. So today we went through and we looked at everybody. We will not touch them again until day 7, just because this is my first time and I want to make sure I don't end up with any bags in here. So as of today, everybody, we can't, with egg number 6, which is this one here on this roller here, is very dark. Like the shell is so dark that you can't really see much through it. And so it was really, really hard. We did see the eye dot in there. Can't really see any veining, but everybody else you could see pretty clear. They're nice big veins starting. So super duper duper excited about that. We won't check again until day 7, and hopefully on day 7, egg number 6 will bring some veining. We should be able to see some by then, even through the, but everybody else is looking fantastic. And so I'm excited. It's my first time incubating, but yeah. So I've never done this before, so this is like a first. So we're gonna have our first set of chickens. We have 7 chicks. As of right now, all 7 are growing. From what we can see. Why do we always disconnect with everything? So I built the brooder box, and I'm gonna show you guys what I've got. So we have that down at the plug. We are running a test run right now because, like I said, the chicks won't be here till the 21st. So they won't be due to hatch till the 20th, 21st. But I took my old mic stand, and this way I could latch it up here and pull this out of the way. But this allows me to lower and raise up their heat source, so that they'll have their heated area there, and then it comes across here. They have their water feeder and their actual feeder. So I'm thinking about putting a little platform in here to get this kind of off of their bedding, so when they do come up to eat, they'll have knocked the little bits of bedding off their feet to come up to eat. I also already have all of their we got big bags of chick food, and then the stuff that goes in their water, so that way they can do really good on that. But yeah, this is 2 feet tall on all sides, 2 feet wide, and then it is 4 feet long. So this size brooder box, when I went online and looked up and researched building a brooder box, this box right here would hold around 20 chicks, and comfortably hold them till they're ready to go outside. But we're gonna have 7 in here, but this will be so that we can, this is just our starter box. But we'll eventually have more chicks. So for right now, this is kind of our first go round to see how things go. And we've even got a massive chicken run going in. It's going to be 26, altogether 26 feet in length and 10 feet wide. And then the coop area, because where we live, you really aren't going to do an enclosed coop. So where we are doing like the coop area, just going to have their food, their water, and their nesting boxes, and their roosting bars. So we're doing that whole thing inside of a 6x10 area. The 6x10 area is going to have the bottom of the floor sealed up. And then we're going to put this like sanded grit stuff that goes down on the floor, which will help with the chickens, like say if we aren't going to be home or whatnot, we'll know that they're safe, but also have everything that they need in that smaller space. And at night, we can lock the door to that bar, and it's like secured in the summertime. And we don't want to put them to require us to put some form of ventilation and like air cooling type system. The birds out here do really good, especially these guys. I've got these eggs from my neighbor. So these came straight from her chickens that they've had for forever. And so we know that these breeds do good out here. So they will have, it's going to be, protected from like the sun and stuff like that. Significant stuff. We've been so busy. We got our second portion to our dog run today. Thank goodness, because we've been waiting for forever for that part. But now that it's here, we can finally get that set up, giving the dogs, what are we going to have it as when we're done setting it up? It's going to be 26 foot by 10 foot as well. Yeah, because it's 10 and 6. So yeah, 26 foot by 10 foot dog run. So they're going to have that. And then the chickens will have the same pretty much size, but there's a chicken run, so it's designed differently. And we're going to have that in. And the big 20-foot portion of the chicken run is going to be pretty much like right on top of regular open earth out here, so that they can really forage for like what we have here. So actual bugs and the trees and the plants and stuff like that we have in here. By the way, I am in our my big bathroom. Anyway, so Sarah, my daughter, broke her ankle really bad. So this past Thursday. So that's a whole other thing. So I've been taking care of her, and I'm taking care of the baby. So the baby, of course, he needs lots of care. He's 2 years old and whatnot. So yeah, she broke her ankle in 2 spots. So she broke both bones on either side of the ankle. But yeah, she snapped them clean. Like just, whew, it's really bad. It looks really bad. It's swollen all the way up to mid calf. And she will see the orthopedic doctor on Thursday. So she'll go to orthopedics on Thursday. They're going to do more x-rays to make sure nothing has gotten displaced in the splint over the last few days, because they'll figure she broke it right before the holiday weekend. So there was nobody open and nobody to see her. But even if they could have, they need the swelling to go down. It is very swollen, like beyond. Heidi, hi, how are you? So yeah, I'm actually inside of, this is the master bathroom, by the way, this bathroom. Every time. So as of right now, you guys, in the incubator, we've got 7 eggs, and all 7 of them are fertilized. I checked them today. And then we have the brooder box, So when they get here, when they hatch, we've got everything here. I don't have any food and stuff out yet. We don't want the food to go stale. Right now we're running a test on running this thing because I need to make sure that we keep the temperature right for these little guys. So as far as we know, they're should be about 95 degrees. I'm good. I'm exhausted, but I'm good. So the edging should be about 95 degrees. Center area should be right around 100 degrees. So you don't want them too hot. And then an area where they can kind of get away from the heat and stuff. So we've got a pretty good sized brooder box. I built a pretty good sized brooder box. And I'm really happy with that. I built this, by the way, I did this. So the cool part is this does come apart. Like it has, like it's like a slot and groove kind of feature. So when they're all ready to go outside, this can get put away and stored, and we don't need to mess with it again until we're ready. No, I don't actually. So yeah, this brooder box is meant to hold 20 chicks. Now we were gonna do 12 chicks. We were hoping to get a couple of Americanas, but her Americanas didn't lay any eggs, which is why this is kind of like they've got new chicks. I wish this would stop doing that. I'm also old, so you know. So the Americanas we were hoping, but we're gonna lay a couple, but they didn't. So as of right now, you know, yeah, my internet's laggy too, like really bad. So yeah, it's like lagging super bad. It's been doing that for the last couple of hours. So, but anywho, I am really happy. We do have the 7, so we're not rushing anything. We were gonna incubate 12, and hope that we were hoping to get 3 different types of bird. We were hoping to get Rhode Island Reds, Dominicers, and Americanas or Easter eggers. So she's got a couple of different ones. Her Easter eggers and her Americanas both. I think that's kind of pretty much the same chicken. They lay really beautiful, like bluey, greeny colored eggs. They're gorgeous. But it's okay. So for right now, 7 is enough. We're gonna keep an eye on these littles, and I'm so excited. You guys have no idea how excited I am. So if you've been following us for a long time and whatnot, you know, like this has been something we have been wanting to do for so long, is own property, own a nice house with the ability to garden and have chickens and eventually other livestock. Right now, we're starting with chickens. And then I'm going to actually call them tomorrow and let them know that, yeah, we'll take a couple chickens. And I'm talking about, because they're getting ready to butcher a couple. Their whole flock. So their whole flock is time to go because they're just not laying anymore. I called her today and they only ended up with 3 eggs. Out of a flock of like 30 some odd chickens, they got 3 eggs. And so most of the time, once your chickens go through their second molt, they're pretty much done laying. You may get an egg here and there, but like at that point, they're pretty much done. And so they are dual source chickens. So being that these chickens are also dual, so if anybody is squeamish about that, just know that, you know, this might not be the journey for you to join on, but yeah, they right about age 3, right around age 3, they should go through their second molt, and then once their molting is finished, then we will freezer pack them, and so we'll start our next round of chicks. So right at about 6 months or so before their molting, we will run another set of chickens, and see, like at that point we'll definitely up our game. The size I have, we could hold up to roughly 40 chickens. I'm not going to have 40 chickens, like, let's be real. 12 chickens at most. I think 12 chickens at most is good. And then eventually we'll get a rooster, so that we can start breeding our own chicks. But for the most part right now, we kind of want to go through a bit of a genetic cleanse with these guys. So we're going to let these ones just lay and whatnot. We will eventually introduce these ones that we have to a rooster who will come out, and we'll let him do his business for a few days, and collect those eggs. And then, and this will be down the road, like another year or so down the road. And then we'll collect those eggs and we'll hatch those eggs out. Hopefully we get a rooster out of that set of hatching. And if we do get a rooster out of that set of hatching, we will be keeping him to add to when we end up with more chicks from a different source. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. That will be the goal. So I'm really, though, excited. I cannot wait to meet these little ones. We won't know if we have any roosters in the group until these guys hatch and start to grow up. I know that they say that there's ways you can check the chicks and whatever, but you know, like, we're really not going to worry about it as they get bigger. If there is a rooster in there, we will not be keeping him. He will not be being raised up. He will more than likely become a source of dinner. I know that probably is going to bother people, but you just have to remember what we're doing here is running a farm, and we are growing our own food sources. So if that bothers anybody, I'm sorry, but that's reality. It's not for everybody. This lifestyle is not for everybody, and that's okay. The other thing is too, we're going to be finally fencing off our area for our garden area. So I'm going to be setting that up. And then we will also be gating off an area that's going to make it safe for Carlisle to be outside to play. It is sad, but true. So the thing is we don't want our, out of these 7 right here, if there's a rooster in this group, we don't want the rooster in this group to mate with or breed with the females in this group, that they are siblings. They're all from the same rooster source. They are from different hens, but they're all from the same rooster, and we're wanting to do a genetic cleanse. So we want to take these chickens, and we do not want them breeding again with their familiar line, because we don't know how many familiar lines down that they have been bred back. So we want to give them a completely rooster from a completely different line to breed with down the road. So we want them to lay some eggs and get going before we introduce a rooster to them. And it will not be from this clutch. So with this set of eggs, we will, if there is a rooster, he will not be allowed to breed with them. So there's that. And by the way, if anybody's unaware, chickens will lay eggs whether there's a rooster there or not. Just so you know, they will lay an egg for the most part daily. Rhode Island Reds will lay up to 320 eggs a year. So that's literally practically an egg a day for the whole year. You got probably like 50 days out of the year that they're not going to lay an egg. Possibly, roughly around that. But Dominickers lay eggs around 300 a year. So yeah, there's like a 3-month, almost 3-month span of time. So usually they stop laying sometime in the summer because it gets too hot out. And then there's a really cold spot like in February that we get here, like February and end of January, February, and part of March, where it's really cold, that they kind of hunker down and don't lay any eggs. So we have those little windows where there's not going to be any egg laying happening. So sadly, we'll have to get eggs from the store. Yuck. Because I have been eating farm fresh eggs now for the last 2 months from my neighbor. I've been buying eggs from her. And let me tell you what, if you've never had fresh from the chicken, eggs that are not processed, not washed off, not raised in a big warehouse style. The egg quality is so different. Fresh eggs, sorry, my nose is itching so bad because I've been dorking with pine. But the egg quality is so different. It is the creamiest, richest flavor I've ever had in eggs, and I can't see, like, we ended up making some eggs the other day that were store-bought eggs, and I was very disappointed because I'd gotten so, like, spoiled by the fresh eggs. So, yeah, a little bit like, oh man, but very good. And so right now we have no eggs. So I'm gonna have to call her and ask her if they ended up with any eggs at all, which I don't think they're going to. We're having a heat wave, and I think that they're going to hold off laying any eggs while there's this heat wave. So hopefully this heat wave passes quick, because I really don't like it. Like, it's so nice usually right where we're at now. Where we were living versus where we bought our house at is like a 20-degree difference on the hottest days. But these last 2 days, it has gotten really hot. And tomorrow is supposed to be over 101 degrees, so it's going to be warm. But you guys, we had a tornado here the other day. Now here's the kicker about it. It was a tornado. It wasn't a big, huge tornado, like, oh my gosh, tornado. But it was enough that it startled me, because I don't think I've seen people post stuff about them out in Arizona, but I have never seen one. Now, I've seen dust devils, and dust devils start at the ground, right? They start at the ground. There's usually no clouds and stuff like that. It just, the wind picks up, it hits a pocket of weird air or whatnot, and they'll spin up, and sometimes they can get pretty big. The dust devils can get pretty vicious out here, especially with the fact that there's a lot of open area and open desert, and we're in a really big valley. So you got a lot of the mountains all around us. But this thing, we had a monsoon storm come through, and it was thundering out, and we saw lightning in the distance and whatnot. And I walked around to come to the back door of the house, and I looked out that window, and I saw it coming out of the sky, and it was coming down. I just saw this cloud just coming down. It hit the ground, and like, it touched down, and just dirt came flying up, and this thing went spinning through right across the valley out there. I actually got video of it, and so I'll post it on my shorts. It caught us off guard. I was like, that's an actual tornado. That's a tornado. And we watched as it dissipated and went back up in the sky. Like, whoa, hi Jesse, how are you? So, yeah, scared the crud out of all of us. You mind, sir? You're being very loud. I'm watching cabin building. We're getting ideas because, we're going to be building out here. So we're watching a lot of, like, ways to do building without, like, all the, up-to-date tools and equipment and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. So I'm running a test on the light source tonight. I'm good. I'm exhausted, but I'm good. So we're doing the light source in here tonight. I want to see how it affects my bedroom temperature, because they're going to be in here because baby chicks can get pretty loud and whatnot, and I don't want to be disruptive of Sarah because she is sleeping in the living room, so that I have easier access to help her getting her to and from the bathroom and stuff. If you're just joining in, Sarah broke her ankle, not her foot, her ankle in 2 spots. And she's only in a splint right now until Thursday, when the orthopedics can see her. They needed the swelling to go down, so there's nothing they could do yet, because her foot and the lower part of her leg is so swollen that they couldn't even put a cast on if they wanted to. But now I think that it's hit the peak of its swelling. It should start to come back down. They're going to do x-rays on Thursday and then cast it. Either way, she's getting a cast on Thursday, whether it's to cast it just because they're going to cast it and then check it again in a couple weeks, or if they're just going to cast it until she does surgery. So she's from what it looks like, the first set of x-rays and from the ER doctor, he says it looks like more than likely she's going to get surgery. He said because if it was him that was doing it, it would be surgery. But he's not orthopedic, so he can't make that call. But yeah, the one bone on the outside, yeah, the outside one is when she broke it, it's like instead of the bones being back together like this, they're apart like this. Like this piece down here is like tilted outward. And so that's going to need to be brought back together. The one on the inside snapped in half, and then when they set her foot, it's now back where it's supposed to be. So that's good, but we don't know how much it shifted with all the swelling, so we'll have to see. But it looks like she's probably going to end up with a surgery on her ankle. Little man's doing good. So right now I'm exhausted because I'm taking care of a 2-year-old and my 23-year-old because she can't get around. Like we got her one of those little scooter things, you know, that you push along with and you set your knee on it to keep your foot up. Because she can't walk. Like literally she has no ankle right now. So you can't walk without your ankle. You need an ankle to put your foot on the ground and stand on. And she doesn't have that right now. So she has no ankle. And so, yeah. So I'm exhausted. The baby goes to bed at 7 p.m. and he gets up bright and early. Sometimes, like today, he got up at 7:15. But most mornings, I'm lucky enough that he'll sleep till 8. So I'm crossing my fingers he'll sleep till 8. But I've been up most evenings with Sarah because she has a lot of pain in the evening. And she doesn't do well with any kind of pain meds. So we've kind of just been going back and forth with ibuprofen. Yeah. So we were at Carlisle's gymnastics, and he does gymnastics now. And we took him to class. And Sarah went to get him because we needed to get him out of the way so that the next kid could go. And so she stepped up onto the trampoline to get him. And when she went to step back down from where she stepped up, she missed the bounce pad. So there's like, I don't know if you've ever been in a gymnastics studio, but the floor is like a bounce floor, right? So you've got the bounce floor. Well, the bounce floor is about this high, right? So all the way around the entire gym, it's about this high. But right where the trampolines are set on the normal floor. And then the bounce floor is bedded up against that. Well, when she stepped down, her foot went between the trampoline and the bounce floor. And so because there was that gap of space, when she stepped down, she didn't realize that she'd missed the bounce floor. So when she stepped down, her foot went between the two. And when she went to turn, she went sideways over it because her foot was in between the two pieces. And as she fell sideways, she had no way to like grab on anything because she had Carlisle in her arms. And so she kind of like protected him as she fell and snapped her ankle. So her foot was in between the two pieces of the equipment. So the bounce floor and the trampoline was where her foot got caught between the two. So, yeah. But it was, yeah. And the thing was she was so stoic, you guys, because there was lots of babies in there, right? So Carlisle's only 2, so he's in a class for little tumblers, and they're all little ones, ages 4 months to age 3. So I think there's one little kid in there that was 3, and then the rest of them are all little guys like Carlisle. And then there was like 2 itty bitty babies, like 4-month-old, 5-month-old babies. But she didn't make a peep. Like she snapped her ankle, like snapped it. When we got over to her, like because I was standing back away because of course she's in the class with them, and I'm just there to, give her any support she might need or help if she needs anything. So I was just kind of standing back, and she asked me to film him with her and stuff. So she had video of him in his class. So I was like, no problem. So I was standing back and I watched as she fell. And I knew immediately when she fell that it wasn't good. But when she fell, she sat him down after she was she hit her hip to the ground. And then she just sat him in front of her, and she just went, I broke it. I broke it. and then she kind of laid over to the side because she went stark white. And I thought for sure she was going to pass out at first. And I grabbed him up because he's ready to go take off again. So I picked him up and I walked over to her. And as she went to like sit herself back up, her ankle like folded completely like inward towards her, like inside of her leg. And I was like, it's, sweetheart, please lay back down. It's broken. You broke it. And so the instructor came over. She's like the manager of the place, and she picked up Sarah's leg to like lay it on the mat, on one of the thicker mats, to bring her leg up above, like to get the, you know, like when you injure something, you want it above your heart level. So she went to pick up Sarah's leg, and her foot flopped the opposite way to the outside, like almost touching her leg. So like her foot went completely like this way against her leg, and it was, I think both her and I, the instructor and I, almost puked. Sarah wasn't looking, thank goodness, because I think had she been looking, it might have sent her over the edge. But I had a hold of Carlisle, and we waited there because she was like, okay, I'm calling the paramedics. So when they got there and they were getting ready to set her foot so they could wrap it to move her, I walked away with Carlisle because I knew in that moment that she might not do so well. But they walked everybody, like all the kids that were in there, the parents and everybody, was so amazing because Sarah didn't scream or cry out loud or yell. I mean, she didn't even cry, but I think more than anything, I think she was more in shock than anything. But they took all the kids and went to the other room so that the kids can continue their class on the other equipment. And so nobody missed a beat. Like they just moved everybody out of the room, gave them room to get her out of there. So nobody missed a beat. None of the kids were disrupted or traumatized by any of it because nobody even realized what had happened because she didn't make a sound. Like Sarah did not make a sound. She was like, there were so many kids there, Mom. I did not want to scare anybody. Her mindset was that I need to make sure that none of these kids get scared. And I was so proud of her. Then they got her to the hospital, and I took Carlisle, got everything together, and I went over to the hospital. And by the time I got to the hospital, they still hadn't had her ready yet in the other room. So about 20 minutes or so of me kind of getting everything ready to get Carlisle in his stroller and stuff like that. And then they brought us back. And went in, and she was like, Mom, take a picture of it. So I took a picture of her ankle and foot. And they had like put a mark on her foot so that they could like keep an eye on, know that that's the foot that they're working with. And by the time we got ready to leave and they were going to come in and wrap it, just before, when they brought all the stuff in to wrap it, I went over and took another picture for her. And I'm glad I did, because holy cow, from the time we got there to the time we left there, her foot and ankle and lower leg probably tripled in size. Like tripled, huge. We were just like, oh my gosh, whoa. Yeah, not good. So we know now that like it's going to be a long road. The doctor said if she has to have surgery, we're looking at 6 months. If she's going to have just a cast and healing and whatnot, we're looking at right around 3 to 4 months of multiple casts, and then what do they call it? Physical therapy. So she's got a long recovery road ahead of her, and it's not going to be easy because that means I'm hands-on with her, with the baby, and then I'm now also incubating chickens and raising chickens. So yeah. Also been working with my dog, who I've had to contain outdoors, and we have built him like a nice shelter and everything. So him and Godric are now out there, and Godric, thank goodness, has finally really like come around to teaching Toby like manners. So Toby's starting to get it. Like he's starting to figure out you can't jump on people. You can't just run people over. You have to be like, you have to behave yourself. So we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. And I'm thankful for Godric being here because I was starting to lose hope in Toby ever really kind of getting it. Because he is now 100 and almost 17 pounds. So I'm going to say 115 pounds to round it. So 115-pound dog. He's huge. He's like a dang horse. So if you guys are wondering, it's just the guy sawing at the thing. So it's loud. But yeah, he's a big dog. But the only thing is we cannot let him out into the yard once we have the chickens out, because eventually, once my chickens have really understood like where their safe haven is, where safety is, where to get to if there's anything overhead, once they figure that part out, which takes a little bit of time, you got to let them get like acclimated to their space when they're outside. Once they have figured that out, they can have literally free reign of the entire yard. Yeah, see, and it so sucks. It sucks to break anything for that matter. I remember when I broke my knee, when I had my knee all shattered out and had to have the first surgery. Walk on your leg. Like just the simplest thing, walking to get somewhere. Now for me, I wasn't lucky enough to be able to use like what she has, the scooter, where she can bend her knee and set her knee on the scooter and get around. I had to use crutches or be in a wheelchair because my leg had to be kept in a straight, like the straight thing to heal. And so I had a cast that went from like my thigh all the way down over my foot, so that I could not move that whole area. They didn't want me flexing the knee, the foot or anything, or like relaxing the foot down. So I had to have my foot like in a casted thing so that I couldn't move. That was an adventure, and I didn't have help. I was by myself. So yeah, I had to get pretty much up, move around with these big stupid crutches, get in and out, make food for the kids. Like I had to take care of my kids and be a mom still, also while still being on active duty at the time. So I didn't have much help hands-on at home. And Jay would come out every other weekend and would spend that time with me, but he was still working. He worked. So like, you can't just up and decide you're not gonna, do what you need to. He was contracted, so he had to be at work when he needed to be at work, and when he had his time off, he would come out and help me out. So, yeah. So I get it. Like it sucked. What, baby? Hold on, honey. I didn't hear you. Ouch. What's up? Oh, did it come out? Sorry. Oh my God, it's so dark out here. Okay, hold on. How did you manage that?
I don't know.
You guys want to see something funny? I'll show them. So this is what Carlisle has for playing. And then he has the ball pit. And then he has his own little futon couch thing. He's got toys underneath. He's got a pickler. He's got a whole kitchen of his own. All his other toys are in. Here, I'll show you guys. All his other toys are in here. So he's got his little toy cabinet. So he comes over here and he grabs his little peoples. He got kitchen. He's got that. He's got puzzles and little people parking garage. Like I said, we got these right here because that protects her during the day. I'm not going to show her on camera. But we got her one of these things. So I'm not showing you, Sarah, so don't worry. And then Bubby thing, and then we have, of course, his high chair. So yeah, he's got quite the setup. He loves this thing, by the way, you guys. Like this thing right here, he loves this thing. Best thing ever. He uses this all the time. It's so funny watching him with that thing. Sorry, I'm trying to. I have to do that with my hand because if I hit the switch, it'll shut the fan off too. We don't want the fan off. Woo, gotta love that. So I'll sit back down right here. So anywho, So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. I figured I'd come on because I haven't seen you guys in forever. I want to do a Lego build so bad right now, but like, I might have to go ahead and do a Lego build this coming weekend. Like I need to, because I need to do something before the chickens are born. I shouldn't even say born. That's not how that works. Before the chickens hatch, because once they're hatched, it's going to be a little bit crazier to deal with. Oh my God, my wrist. Holy cow. And I am so sore. This mattress is horrible. Horrible. This whole thing, like, all the way down. Like, I sit down on the edge of this and I literally sink the whole 14 inches down. And I'm like, this isn't supposed to do that. It's supposed to be a medium firm mattress. And I'm not heavy at all. Like, I'm 5 foot and I weigh like 130 pounds. So, like, yeah, apparently, according to other people, I'm extremely obese. 5 foot and 130 pounds. I'm a little on the thicker side than I want to be, but I am in no way big at all. But if I lay down and over like 5 minutes, it sinks wherever you're laying. And I'm sorry, but a medium firm mattress shouldn't. And you got this divot where you were just laying, which is really annoying. So it makes it really hard to get comfortable on this thing. So that's the reason why she's on the couch, because her bed is the exact same one, and she's a bit bigger than I am. And once she's on there, we have absolutely no hope of getting her off of there. We have struggled. That first night after she got back from the hospital, whoa, trying to get her up off there when she's got, at that time, of course, excruciating pain those first 2 days. Excruciating pain. I mean, even the pain medicine was not even touching it, wasn't even putting a dent in how much pain she was in. And so she was miserable, and we could not get her in it, like out of the bed. We were struggling to help her get up and out of the bed, because once she'd laid down and went to move herself over, the whole mattress sank in with her. And yeah, and when here she's only got 1 foot to work with and her arms, and trying not to let her bump her foot into anything. I was like, I am so sorry. Like, it was miserable. So yeah, I'm exhausted. I am sore because, like I said, this mattress is garbage. So I need to just order like a firm mattress, because sleeping on the floor at this point is better than sleeping on this mattress. Like, it's garbage. I was like, that's what I get for buying a mattress at a lower price. I got this thing. So cross our fingers, all 7 babies survive to hatch day, and that we see all 7 of them hatch. So let's go in here real quick. Oh, my heel on. I don't know if is it? Okay. Good. Our temperature's doing good. Our humidity's doing good. The cool part is they give you this cool little, and then on the side of this, it has the 2 little holes here, and you just poke this inside of here, and you squeeze that in there. I can't put any more water in right now. It's already got enough water in it, and so you just put that in there. They also give you, at the higher humidity, I don't need to touch it. This is so that when you get to that last stage, the last 3 days, you are supposed to, technically, so they say, spray down. Everybody out here that I've talked to that's done incubation says do not do that step out here, because our things are already at a nice high 70, right at about 70 humidity. 70% humidity, and our temperature is sitting at 38 Celsius. So we do not need to do anything with these babies other than let them naturally do this. Now on the 18th, I think it's the 18th, yeah. On the 18th, we will be taking these rollers out. So all the rollers will come out, and then these little guys will just set right here on the little grid, and that's it. Don't touch them after that. Don't even move them or nothing, because you're gonna let them sit for the last 2 to 3 days so that they can orient themselves upright for hatching. So that is kind of goal. I need to figure out what that is. I think it's on the inside. It's like this weird little spot. I noticed it when I bought it. I need to, but anyway, so this will, we'll take the rollers out, we'll set them straight down onto the thing, and then you don't touch them, you don't even come in here and move them or nothing. Like, leave them be. And then after they hatch, they'll stay in here for about 24 hours. You let the water dry out. You don't put any more water in there so that they actually will dry. You don't want to add any extra. There's everything to get dry, nice and fluffy. And then you take them out of the incubator after 24 hours and place them in the brooder so that they can get nice, so that they can stay dry and start looking for food, start pecking and scratching. So this is the 7. So as you guys see, I have little lines on there so that we can watch that this is rolling like it's supposed to. It's, of course, I don't have to check it anymore. I know that the rollers work. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. We'll keep you guys updated. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.